Is there a conversation to be had on healthy usage, or is that out of the question as well in your mind?
It's that's a good question. It's like if you have okay. What it's making me think of is that one of my areas in philosophy is moral theory. And there's something about just, let's say, reading something like Immanuel Kant's work, The Categorical Imperative. You can study it, you can learn it. Here are the rules, essentially. But you're not going to walk away and be an ethical person. There's still something missing there. And I feel that way if we're to tell Gen Z, like, hey, do this and don't do that. I don't know that it will be as helpful. You know what does help with moral theory is actually fiction and reading stories, because there is something in the brain that where that experience lights up. There are lessons in, let's say, Harry Potter that I think have more weight and more impetus than Kant's categorical imperative. Don't mean to throw him under the bus, but I think in terms of understanding that there is something more. So that being said, I would give some advice to, let's say Gen Xers, maybe even boomers in there. Tell the story of how you and your significant other met to somebody who's younger. Tell that story. Those stories are fascinating because it's before the internet for a lot of people. And just to say, hey, we met. Oh yeah, I was working here, and your father always came around and passed a note or something like that. Like, I think that that will give a sense of love and vulnerability, taking that chance and that respect for the other person. So I would say, I'm not going to say give up on the list of do's and don'ts. Like, I wouldn't tell people if you're going to take an ethical theory course to ignore Kant. I wouldn't say that either. But I don't want to undermine the value of storytelling, of just from your own family members, from your elders, to say, well, God, I'm a Gen Xer and I hate calling myself an elder, but tell those stories about how you met somebody, or a funny story, or a vulnerable, or about how somebody broke your heart,
Mhm.
and then what you did. And then if you're the parent and your teenager has a broken heart, be like, if it's depending on what they want to do, say, hey, like, let me treat you to go and do something fun. Let's go to a movie, or let's go miniature golf, or whatever it is that people do for fun. Let's go out and do something fun. Let's go out and connect, get off the phone. Let's go out and do that. So I guess that would be my advice.
Right, right. And this question sounds like a follow-up and a non sequitur, but I promise
Mhm.
everything will tie in. But what is a healthy relationship, and how can we easily define it for Gen Z who have the attention span of a tweet?
A healthy relationship, I would say, it is one where after you need to have one with yourself. um when you kind of establish what it is that you want and what you enjoy out of life, then it's much easier to be around people who also inspire you. um so I would say have and the way in which to engage in the healthy relationship with yourself, because people talk about self-care, they talk about boundaries, but there doesn't seem to be any like specifics of what is it. Is self-care going out and getting a manicure? I don't think so. I think self-care is when you are paying attention to the way in which things make you feel. So, for example, if you're eating food and it all of a sudden just makes you want to lay on the couch and just watch TV and do nothing else, you're not taking care of yourself. Go for a walk. When you eat something and you still feel like you can go for a walk, that's when you're taking care of yourself. When you are putting the phone down, when you're giving that time for contemplation, you are human beings, Homo sapiens. We are rational beings. We need to allow ourselves long distance movement and time to think. Make sure your food has some color on it, right? If the food doesn't have color on it, if it doesn't have some green or some orange or some yellow in there, maybe pass on it, but not always. I don't want to be totally strict about it, but pay attention to also the activities, how they make you feel. People have asked me, why do I like philosophy? And I just say, well, it chose me. I didn't really
Mhm.
make a decision. All I knew is that I would read it and I felt alive. or I read certain stories and I feel alive. Other people, they play a certain sport and they feel alive, or an instrument, or they like problem solving, like in engineering, whatever makes you feel alive. So then you take that and you understand that healthy attitude. And then in your relationships, take stock of that too. After you spend time with this person, do you feel energized? Do you feel happy, or do you feel drained? And then that's how you can tell. What is it that's working? Are you inspired? Do you respect this person? Do they have a talent and you just want to cheer them on? Do they cheer you on? Do they want to hear about your good days, or are they just only interested in your bad days? That's the kind of thing where you want to pay attention to what is healthy. And I think that establishment of friendship is key then for a romantic relationship, because a romantic relationship without the friendship is not really a relationship. That's just a lustful thing, which I'm not down on, like that's fun too, but that's not long-term romance. You've got the lust and the attraction, but that friendship has to kick in, where this person, you respect that person and they respect you. And what I mean by respect is that, I mean, I can honestly say this about all of my friends, the people I'm close to, even my podcast partner, Rudy. I adore him. And why? I'm amazed by him. He's a lawyer. He loves music. He loves film noir. He has written some science fiction under a pen name. The guy is multi-talented, and his wife is amazing too. She's a general surgeon. They've got 2 kids. They love to travel. Like, you can hear by the way I'm talking about my podcast partner that he's just top tier to me. I think he's amazing. That's how you should feel about your friends. That's what I mean by energized by them. And then in your romantic relationships, you should want to be able to brag about them.